Hello, I want to make a little video about that YouTube video, my tram experience. I just want to say that the woman was obviously upset because she had some very good reasons to be. She's losing her own country as she knows it, absolutely surrounded by foreigners every moment of every day. Even when she loves her child, there's nothing she can do for him. She's powerless to help him. In the last 30 or 40 years, 1/3 of the United Kingdom's population has left, the indigenous population has, and has been replaced by foreigners. That's 20 million people. That's a lot of people. And a lot of them left because they weren't happy with all the foreigners coming in. So they left, made room, and were replaced by foreigners. So at least 20 million foreigners are in our country. That means that we are gradually losing our country. Now, according to the United Nations, that's their definition of genocide. When you displace a people, we are being displaced. 20 million of us, 1/3, have been displaced. Now, who is doing this to us? Well, the European Union is, the United Nations is, and our treacherous globalist, capitalist, leftist government is. We are on the path to losing our country totally, like the Tibetans have, thanks to China, like Holland has, thanks to the left in Holland. They've brought in so many foreigners. The native Holland Dutch people are now completely outnumbered by them, and they will never regain Holland democratically. That's what's likely to happen to us when we lose our majority, when we are no longer even 50% of the population, which is destined to happen within, say, 15 or 20 years. In my opinion, it could happen in just 10 or 15 years. Now, obviously, this is very upsetting. Now and again, somebody's going to crack under the strain. And what does she get? She gets men leaping up to attack her. She was lucky she wasn't attacked. She's got a little boy with her, and someone was going to physically beat her. And that was a black man. You know, black people are very violent, and that's another stress we're living under. I've personally been attacked by blacks on a number of occasions. Living in London, I live with a lot of blacks around me, and they're very violent people. And the rich don't care because they don't live here anyway. They only come here to rule us a little bit in Parliament. They don't come into our areas unless they're wearing stab vests. They live on their yachts, and they live in Luxembourg, gambling millions of pounds away that they've stolen from us with business grants, and so on and so forth. You know, I could go on and on, as you know, obviously. And then she had to put up with someone telling her, Libya for the Libyans. Well, we haven't taken Libya. We've just gone over there and given them a hell of a lot of help to do what they want with their country. Okay, so we don't even get thanks for it. We get Libya for the Libyans. Why aren't you employed? Well, as it turns out, she was employed. She said she's got a job. She does work. You know, and even if we didn't work ourselves, we'd still have a right to do what we want with our country. We still have a right to sit on our backsides all the time if we felt like it. You know, this is our country. You can't tell us what to do with it, even if we don't do anything ourselves. If we want to sit around twiddling our thumbs all day, that's up to us. It's not up to a few employers who want a lot of cheap labour, so they can end up in an ever-expanding territory. You know, not even just a country anymore, but a continent, Europe, and then perhaps the whole world. You know, these are globalists. They're not doing us any favours. They're genociding their own people, and they'll genocide the whole world when it suits them. They do what suits them. They don't care about anyone else. If people had any wisdom, they would go back to their own countries, like the Libyans, and say Libya for the Libyans and Tibet for the Tibetans, and try and help themselves. They wouldn't come over here being cheap labour for rich people, giving them more and more resources until they do have enough power to not just genocide their own people, but to take over the world and genocide all of us. Thank you for listening.